Okay, let's just jump right in. If you're a parent, you know that kids and technology, well, it feels like they're living in a different world sometimes. And when you hear the term artificial intelligence, it can sound like something straight out of science fiction. But here's the thing, AI isn't some far-off futuristic idea. It's here, right now. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what that means for you and your kids in a way that actually makes sense.
So, to get us started, let me ask you a question. Just think for a second. What's the connection between the show Netflix just recommended for you, the answer Siri or Alexa just gave you, and, believe it or not, the way your kid might be brainstorming their next school project?
Yep, you guessed it. The answer is artificial intelligence. It's the engine running quietly in the background of so many things we use every single day. And once you start seeing it in these familiar places, it stops being this big, scary, mysterious thing and starts becoming what it really is. A tool that's already part of our lives.
So, to help you get a real handle on this, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at where AI already is. Then, we'll talk about the new core skills our kids really need. After that, we'll get into the fun part, how to actually talk to an AI. Then we'll cover how to think beyond that first draft. And finally, we'll go over the super important AI safety rules. Think of it as your roadmap.
First up, AI is already here, and this is a big one. It's so important to get our heads around this because our kids are already interacting with these systems all the time, whether they know it or not. They're already users. Our job is to help them become skilled and, more importantly, responsible ones.
So what even is AI? Let's totally demystify it. At its heart, AI is just a technology that's been trained on a massive amount of information. It learns to see patterns in that data, and then it uses those patterns to do helpful things, like make predictions, answer questions, or even create brand new things like pictures and stories. So, think of it less like a super brain and more like a giant talking encyclopedia or a super smart assistant that's ready to help out.
And that idea of an assistant brings us to a really important shift in how we think about this. The goal isn't just for our kids to know about AI. The goal is to empower them, to go from being passive consumers of technology to being the ones who are actively steering it. It's all about putting them in the driver's seat.
And the great news is, this isn't about your kid needing to learn complex coding overnight. Not at all. It really boils down to 5 practical, powerful skills that any young learner can start picking up today.
These are the new fundamentals. First, learning how to give good instructions. We call those prompts. Second, using AI to brainstorm new ideas and then polish them up. Third, using it to build their own logic and arguments. Fourth, getting comfortable with a few different AI tools. And fifth, and this is a big one, using AI responsibly and safely.
Okay, so let's start with the most foundational skill of all, learning how to talk to AI. This is all about prompt writing. Because here's the secret. The quality of what you get out of an AI is a direct reflection of the quality of the instructions you put in.
And here is a totally game-changing way to think about it. You're not just asking a question, you are programming the machine with words. Just letting that sink in for a second. That simple shift in perspective is huge. It takes a kid from just being a passive asker of questions to being an active creator.
So how do you do that? How do you program with words? Well, there's this fantastic, super easy framework called PTCF. It's like a simple recipe for a great prompt. P is for persona. You tell the AI what role to play. T is for task. You give it a specific action to do. C is for context. You give it background info, like who the audience is. And F is for format. You tell it how you want the answer to look. Persona, task, context, format. Simple.
And man, you can really see the difference this makes. A vague prompt like write about climate change, you're going to get something generic and pretty useless. But a specific prompt, using that PTCF framework, now you're getting a targeted, useful result. You've guided the AI to give you exactly what you needed. It's the difference between walking into a restaurant and shouting, "I want food," versus ordering a specific dish off the menu.
But here's the thing. Getting that first good response, that's just the start. The real magic, the real learning, happens when you treat AI less like a vending machine and more like a creative partner. It's not about a single command, it's a conversation.
It's what we call the iterative loop. Sounds a little technical, but it's really just a back and forth. You give it an initial prompt, you look at what it gives you back. Then you refine your prompt and try again and again. So if the AI's first explanation of something is way too complicated, your next prompt is, okay, explain that again, but this time like I'm a 10-year-old. That process right there, that's teaching critical thinking in real time.
All right, let's switch gears to something that is absolutely 100% critical, safety.
With these amazing new tools comes a very real need for responsibility. We have to give our kids the tools to navigate AI's weak spots and be good digital citizens.
Here's the most important thing to get. AI can be wrong, like really confidently wrong. These models can sometimes just make stuff up. They generate information that is completely false, but present it like it's a fact. We call these hallucinations. The AI can even invent sources and citations that look real, but don't actually exist.
A really great rule of thumb to remember is the clumsy assistant rule. Imagine you have an assistant who is incredibly fast and powerful, but also a bit clumsy and prone to making mistakes. You would never, ever just blindly trust a first draft from that assistant, right? You'd check it. You have to have that same healthy skepticism with AI.
So how do we actually do this? You teach your kids to be fact-checking detectives. It's 3 simple steps. First, always cross-check any important facts with sources you already trust. Second, if the AI gives you a source, go and check that it's a real thing. And third, just trust your gut. If something sounds weird or too good to be true, that's a huge red flag to go and check it out.
Another key issue to be aware of is bias. See, AI learns from a huge chunk of the internet, which was all written by humans. Because of that, it can accidentally learn and even amplify the biases that already exist in our society. It's not really a bug in the system, it's more like a mirror reflecting the data it was trained on.
And finally, let's cover the absolute non-negotiables. Data privacy. These are bright red lines you just don't cross. Rule 1. Never, ever enter real names, addresses, or any personal details into a public AI. Rule 2. Don't share private photos or any sensitive info. And the most important rule of all, if you are ever unsure about anything, ask a parent or a teacher, period.
So as we start to wrap this up, it's so important to see the big picture here. Learning to write a good prompt or check in AI sources. This isn't just about learning to use a new app. These are the building blocks of modern critical thinking, of creativity, and of logic. They're life skills.
Which really leaves us with one final, and I think really powerful question to think about. The choice isn't whether our kids will use AI. That ship has sailed. They already are. The choice is how we prepare them for it. Are we giving them the skills to actively steer this powerful technology, or are we just letting them passively consume it? Because the future absolutely belongs to the people who know how to steer.